My name is Bullwhip of the Iron Skillet, and we do not support the promotion of drug use in music. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse, reach out to the National Helpline, 1-800-662-HELP.
As we all know, was it today? Juice World passed away today.
Yeah, today.
From a seizure. And I think I'm speaking for a lot of people to say that that was really unexpected. Like, nobody was like, damn, Juice World could die tomorrow. Definitely took him for granted until this moment. A lot of people are kicking themselves in the ass. He really was a revolutionary artist. He had a unique sound. I didn't like that he promoted drugs as much as he did, but I still supported him because he was caught up in something that he didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? He was doing it for a dollar. His managers were condoning that behavior to also make dollars, and really nobody cared about the guy.
It's a tough situation to be in. I mean, with the fame and the money, and you could also argue the power as well.
Oh yeah.
Having all those things, and like you said, you know, people around him. What are you going to tell somebody when they're the ones paying you, or you know what I mean? They're doing something to benefit you and create your job, and you know, what are you to tell them? Yo, you need to back off or something, or you know, you need to chill with that. And, you know, it's a tough situation to be in, but unfortunately, I feel like it's happening a lot more nowadays.
Rapid pace.
Yeah.
Rapid pace.
Now, everybody knows there's a drug epidemic going on in our country. There's no surprise to that. It baffles me, and it also saddens me that music, and especially mainstream hip-hop in this day and age, is like fueled with the drug references and this and that. I seen a post today from Jalen over at Sleeves of Success, and he was saying, like, you know, back in the early 90s, 2000s, it was all about rapping about doing drugs, and he said, you know, that's not
selling drugs.
That or selling drugs.
Yeah,
that's what I'm sorry. Back then it was all about selling drugs, and he said, you know, that's not, you know, a good thing. But nowadays people are rapping about doing drugs, and you know, these artists are dying and this and that. So you know, it's sad.
It's like everything's flipped. Like now it's the user that you're getting the point of view from now.
Exactly.
And they're kind of, I mean, they're 100% like making it a cool thing. You know, it's like the person you look up to the most, the person whose lifestyle that you wish you had is like making YouTube and like Instagram content about them being all like whacked out on like Xanax and different, you know, different types of drugs. And you have people like with their names are based on like drug use. And like the thing that I think about is like, first of all, just like you said, Logan, like I was like I have today off, so I was like sleeping still, and my cousin texted me and she just said Juice WRLD died, and I was like, it was Kira, so I was like, let me check that, make sure that's right.
TMZ was the first one to report it as well, so nobody knew if it was factual.
If that was right.
TMZ was the first one to report it that I seen, and I believe other media outlets reported that as well.
My thought was like, first I was like, what? And then I looked it up and I saw like he was in an airport. Like, he just got off a plane and like it happened in an airport. And I was like just picturing like being a normal person, you know what I mean? Walking through the airport,
seeing
something like that, whether it's a person that you idolize or don't idolize, like that's like crazy. You know what I mean? It's not normal being a healthcare professional. It's not a normal thing to die from a seizure. You know what I mean? Like if you know that you have issues with seizures, like there's like ways to manage it and stuff like that. So
does he have seizures? I think
I don't
we
know.
Knew that.
Yeah.
As consumers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like couldn't a seizure been caused from something else, like a brain aneurysm or something like that?
Yeah, 100%. And like
come out of nowhere as well.
100%. And like that's why it's like it's hard to say like what, you know what I mean? Like, but
nobody knows what actually caused it at the moment.
Yeah.
Really? We just all assumed it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess people are assuming.
I think people
I'm not
are
going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can only speculate at this time.
Of course, it's society we live in now. It's like you just assume.
It's almost a norm, and it's sad.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how everybody who dies gets shit thrown on their name lately. Has anybody noticed that? Anytime somebody dies,
I see both sides. I see that, but I also see a lot of people cherishing the artwork that they did have and they did leave behind.
Right.
Yeah, and
not for long though.
Yeah.
Well, some have less. I mean, people still share things about Mac and and that's been what, 2 years. And Nip,
And
he passed away this year.
I know a lot of people were. Yeah, I think a lot of people were also. Everyone says this. There's just like saying how it sucks that sometimes it takes something like that for you to shed light on how good they are, what they do. You know what I mean? Like with Nipsey, it's like you hate to. Everyone brought it up, but you hate to say it when he got nominated for that Grammy. Like, was that gonna be the case if that didn't happen to him? Because it's not like he was getting a bunch of mainstream shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before that,
it's weird because like if you think about it, when he got nominated for Victory Lap last year, which he still should have won. I don't care what anyone says. He should have won that.
Yeah.
But him having that award and him having that stretch of a year leading up to it, it being that great.
Yeah.
And then for his untimely demise.
Yeah.
And now he's getting another nomination this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like this year it seems like they're trying to do that because he's passed.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot going on.
His streams, Juice World and Nipsey's hustles are going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to touch on about being an artist and dabbling with drugs and dealing with drugs, we can't even imagine what they feel like on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're constantly in a new place. You're constantly around people you don't fucking know. You're getting on and off of airplanes. You're jet lagged. You're exhausted. Like, you're really doing everything because this is what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? So everything is really being given to you. And they don't know how to deal with it. It happens so fast that the only thing that can take them away is certain types of drugs. I'm not glorifying it or saying that if you're going through something like that, do drugs. But I feel like
in that lifestyle,
it would be something that's
easy
reoccurring.
to turn to.
I think if that's something like I think about this a lot, like the level that I want to get to, with like being a creator and an entertainer, like someone said in an interview one time, like being a rapper is the only, or like a rock star is the only job where it's 100% acceptable for you to be drunk on the job. Like people expect you to be drunk on the job.
Well, undoubtedly.
But if you think about it, like who else would go to work drunk? You know what I mean? Or on a substance. Like
Chefs.
It's not, but it's like, it's not necessarily like condoned, but in that lifestyle, it's like not even batted an eye at it. And then like, it's like, I think to like certain, I've watched tour vlogs of big artists, like big name artists that are just getting like IVs, like saline IVs before every show because they're that dehydrated, that fatigued, that like
before
they get on stage, they're getting hooked up to a saline IV like a athlete because they're that depleted of everything because that's how like hard they push it. And like one thing that made me sad is with the album that just came out that MGK just dropped, like he talked a lot about his issues with it, you know what I mean, both drug use and like depression, and he was like, it's sad to say, but like he's like, I'm terrified not to be in this place because I don't think I can make this kind of music if I'm not in this place mentally and emotionally. Like I don't think I can create as well if I'm not like here. So like I don't even know if I can get out of this. And he's like, and I kind of just think it's my job to be in this place so that I can make this art because that's what I signed up for. And I'm like, that's really freaking sad that that's how you feel.
It's like it goes back to the term I always coin is playing your part. And sometimes those people are meant to do certain things. I believe in destiny. We're not going to get into conspiracies.
Well,
go ahead.
The antics in hip-hop and, the things that it leads to sometimes, the negative aspects, whether it be the drugs or the violence or, you're just out here flaunting and, somebody runs up on you. As artists and people with a platform and some type of stature, of being well-known, have to take that into account every day of their lives and, doing what they do. These artists have little kids looking up to them, listening to their music and this and that. And, sometimes we don't always think about the impact our lyrics or our antics have on kids. But, looking at these situations, I feel like we need to turn it into a positive in a way, and one way could be informing the youth, like, and kind of, you know, I'd hate to say it because I'm not speaking bad on these artists who have passed away, but kind of using them as an example.
Yeah.
Saying like, look, you know, look at how they came up and the drug use and this and that, and this could be you. You don't want to do that. You don't want to die early at 21 or 19 or whenever these artists are passing. So kind of using that as an example to actually help a younger generation come up in the music and entertainment industry.
I wish that was the way, but it doesn't sell records.
Well, I understand that, but it also is going to take more than just us. Yeah. It's going to take a community. It's going to take a whole genre. It's going to take a big push.
Cool again.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I'm saying? It's that simple. Like, it's not cool. You're looked at as a square if you're not in the end scene, or you don't do a little coke at parties, you're a square. You know what I'm saying? That's the norm today.
I think so. Like, taking back to the scenario that you say with, like, you see this artist like wilding, pushing it to the limit, and like, but you don't want to say anything because you feel like it's just gonna cause a lot of problems or whatever. But I think that, like, taking that analogy into your real life, like, I know for a fact that there's a lot of things that people are going through that I'm close with, that I've been through, that I feel like, I was just talking to my grandma about this today, like, I feel like instead of trying to keep everything so hidden and pretend like everything's okay and like everyone's life is just this picture perfect thing, it would be better if people had open conversations with people that they trust to be like, yo, like, this is what I'm going through right now. Like, I'm not good. Like, I know I'm messing up, but like, I don't really know how to get myself out of it. Or if you're a friend, sitting your friend down and being like, bro, are you good? Like, because I see A, B, and C, and like, I just want to make sure you're good, you know? Like, those things are like where it starts, I think, with your friends in your town where you live, or your family, because I think everyone can think of, like, as soon as this comes up, everyone can think of a person or a situation in their life where if they would have said something or they think they could have said something, it might have been different.
And that's where it starts. It starts in our own communities. You know, you can't just go out and help everybody in the world. You got to start somewhere, and you got to start at home.
Start with your family, friends.
Start
exactly. You know somebody out there that needs help, reach out, or help them reach out to somebody.
For sure.
There are resources.
So I think I speak for all of us when I say that we don't really support drug use. We don't support drug rap going into the future. We do not condone any of that nonsense. So
let's let's be more positive role models for the youth. You know, let's try and push this movement.
We don't knock it. We're not judgmental toward it. We just don't support it.
Amen.
Have a good night.